away. So good morning, ladies. Good to see you all here again today. And this is week 4 of our Navigating Your Menopause. And it's like, oh my God, it's going really quickly. When you start at 6 weeks, you think, oh, that's going to take ages. But it goes so quickly. So I'm starting today to look at our 5-a-day. And as I said, normally this would have been the I part of Thrive, which would all be about impact and influence. But we've had to move that one to the end of the sessions because the osteopath who's going to come in and talk to us all about exercise and pelvic floor and pelvic health can't do it until then. She's doing a number of festivals where she's giving massages and things. So she's really busy. But today we're going to be looking at energizing your future. And I'm going to talk to you more about the 5-a-day, or the menopause lifesavers, as I'm calling them. But they can actually be lifesavers for life anyway. And they're going to look particularly at nutrition. So some real more detailed, helpful hints and tips on what you can do to combat weight gain, how you can lose weight through menopause, and also how you can actually add to your hormones and really give your body the best opportunity you can. And then look a little bit at some of the barriers that we've put in the way to developing that healthy lifestyle and the excuses we can make, because I know we all do it, and think about how we can get through that. Okay, so let's see, come on, get to work. You just love it when your system does not want to. Just do that. There we go. Different button. So that's really what I just said. Understanding what the 5-a-day is and how important it can be, how it can help us, focusing on one aspect. So the next 3 weeks, this week and the 2 following, we will look at those 5. We'll be covering kind of moving our bodies and physical health, and then we'll also be doing a session that covers a lot of the emotional and psychological stuff that we'll look at in the 5-a-day, looking at how you can naturally boost your estrogen and progesterone levels, whether or not you take HRT, because you can do it when you're on HRT as well, taking a look at our mindset and how we can develop those healthy lifestyle habits and what stops us from doing it, and then some practical hints and tips. So hopefully it should be good. So very quickly, anything that's happened this week or this morning that you want to leave at the door? Any reflections on the last session that we had before we get into our mindfulness exercise? No? I think all good then. Mm-hmm. Cool. That's what I like to hear. That either means you've not had a chance to read the stuff or whatever, which is absolutely fine, or it all made perfect sense to you. Let's go with that one, because that makes me feel better. Cool. So ladies, as we normally do, what I'm going to do is start us off with our mindful exercise, just to get us in that zone and blocking out everything that's going on around us, and bringing our focus to us and to what we're going to be looking at today. So as I always start it, if you want to find yourself in a nice, hopefully quiet place where you're not going to get disturbed, sit yourself comfortably in your chair so that you're actually sitting right back, your back is fully supported, your legs and thighs are supported, feet nice and firmly level on the floor so you're nice and grounded. And then if you want to take your arms and just gently rest them in your lap, rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or palm down, hold your hands however is comfortable for you. Just be nice and relaxed. And then once you're comfortable, gently invite your eyes to just close. So now take your attention to your breath. I want you to start breathing in deeply, in through your nose, so that you notice your diaphragm move, your abdomen extend as you bring that air in. Your lungs really fill up with air and your rib cage lift. Bring in all that lovely air in through your nose, nice and deeply, and then breathe it out really slowly, as slowly as you can, out through your mouth or through your nose, whichever feels comfortable for breathe like this because it helps to tell our brains and our hearts and all those systems that we're going to relax, we're going to focus on the here and now and just be in this zone. So on your next deep breath in, I'd like you to take that attention to your head, to your face, your eyes, your mouth, your neck, and your shoulders. Just notice how they feel. Just ask your face just to gently relax. Maybe you might want to just open your mouth slightly, just to release any tension in your jaw. Notice how your shoulders feel on your chair. Is one higher than the other? Holding any tension. Just on your next inhalation, ask all of your head, your neck, and your shoulders just to relax down. And if you can find any tension there that you notice, grab a hold of it and release it as you release out that breath. A long, nice, slow exhalation. Your next deep breath in, take your attention down to your arms, your upper arms, your forearms, your hands, and your chest. Notice how you feel uncomfortable and your fingers wanting to twitch or move, any pins and needles. You feel comfortable. You feel your chest moving as you're breathing in. So take that deep breath in through your nose. Really notice how your chest moves. Maybe your spine, notice how that feels against the back of your chair. Find any tension, just release it gently out, either through your mouth or through your nose. And as you go through this exercise, you'll find distractions. You might find you can hear what's going on around you, or your thoughts come into your mind. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Life is going on around you. Thoughts are natural. You don't need to chase them away or worry. Just simply notice them and let them pass through your mind. They'll come in there. You'll notice things around you. That's fine. Just in your relaxed state, just let that come through into your mind and your body and pass. On your next inhalation in, take that air down into your abdomen, your lower back, your hips, your buttocks, your stomach. Just notice how you feel. If you've had breakfast, do you feel bloated? Do you feel that nice, good, energizing food in there? Or perhaps you've not had anything to eat and you can feel little butterflies, little hunger pangs. Just notice them. It's natural. Again, if you feel any tension in your lower back or your buttocks, which is where we can carry that, just take that air deep, deep down into that tension. Ask your body and your muscles to relax. And then exhale that tension out through your mouth or your nose, that next breath out. Then as you breathe in deeply again, take your attention to your legs, your thighs, your lower legs, your calves, your ankles and your feet. Notice how you're sitting. Again, does one side feel heavier than the other? Maybe you can feel your seat bone, that feels a bit strange. Are your feet even on the floor? Or are your toes twitching or moving? Any tension in your ankles or your legs? Just take that air into that area, notice the tension, grab a hold of it and release it as you breathe out, nice and deep and slow. Take 2 more deep, deep breaths in through your nose, right down into your abdomen, and then out slowly through your mouth or your nose. And then gradually ask your breathing to come back to its normal rhythm, just where it feels comfortable. As you start to bring your attention back to the room, start moving your fingers or your toes, and then when you're ready, just open your eyes. No hurry whatsoever. Cool. All right, ladies. Anyone struggling with concentration there?
I'm struggling with hearing you, actually.
Your mic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is it because of my
That's
fan?
right.
Oh, hang on. Let me just... Is it better now?
Don't know. You need to talk.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that is clearer.
Yeah,
It's because I've got the fan on. Sorry, ladies.
I couldn't concentrate through any of that because of the it sounded like you had a Doppler going on in the background.
Yeah, it's my fan. I'll do the old-fashioned way. You know.
Oh, I went off onto another planet. I was gone.
That's good. No, I did wonder because I could see kind of not all in that zone, but that's fine. Don't worry. I'll turn the fan off, and every so often, if I have to do that, I'll do it. It's because my upstairs room is so warm, and it's south facing. So even with the got the blinds shut to keep the heat out, but I had to put a light on because then I can't see. It's the joys, isn't it? Sorry about that, ladies. Hopefully, what you can do is, pick up on one of the other recordings or on the mindfulness exercises that I sent with one of the was it last week or the week before, and just have a look at those because there's some good exercises there for you to try.
I do it with yoga, so I'm so used to it. The minute she says close your eyes, I'm like, yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm the same, Christine. I do it quite a lot, and you get into that, and it is easier then to block out and somehow hone in on it, or you learn the process so you can take yourself through it. So before we get going on nutrition and overcoming the barriers to healthy lifestyle, I wanted to remind us of one or two of the myths that hang around when we're talking and thinking about our bodies, weight gain, exercise, things like that, the myths that hang around with menopause. So first off, it automatically means that you'll gain weight and it's impossible to lose weight after menopause. As we know, gaining weight can happen in menopause, but it isn't just menopause that causes it. It is a natural aging process as our bodies start to get a little less efficient with the way they operate. But our fluctuating hormones can make that harder. You will also hear lots of ladies say, oh, well, once you put on weight through menopause, there's no way you can ever lose it. That is a myth. You can lose it. It might take a little bit longer or a bit more focus and hard work, but you can do it. There's no relief from hot flushes. I'm going to show you that aside from doing this, which is actually quite good relief, there are foods and supplements that you can take that absolutely will give you that relief from hot flushes. And these will work with or without HRT. So HRT and antidepressants are the big things that will alleviate hot flushes. If you don't want to put those into your body, there are natural ways that you can do it. And you can actually combat hot flushes, which is a joy at this time of year in this weather as well. Menopause brings on the blues. We know it can because of the way that our bodies work with the hormones, but it doesn't have to be that way. And again, through eating and being able to replace some of the estrogen in our bodies and take supplements, we can absolutely help ourselves to actually manage our mood swings much better. As we say, the only way to manage your symptoms is through HRT. No, it helps, and it is probably the biggest one, and it's great. But actually, there are other things that you can take, over-the-counter remedies, herbal remedies, supplements, and food that can also help you. What you need to remember is HRT will bring your estrogen and progesterone levels back up to your pre-menopausal level. No amount of eating phytoestrogens and taking supplements will do that, but actually you don't necessarily want to be at that level long, really long term, because actually that's not natural place as our bodies age. So it's just weighing up that balance. And as we've said, HRT is dangerous. 100% it isn't. There are risks associated if you are in particular groups. So if there is a history of breast cancer in your family, or you have the BRCA gene, yes, there is a higher risk that you could develop breast cancer, but it isn't that high. The highest risk for breast cancer and HRT is if you are overweight and a big drinker. That is a higher risk, 8% more likelihood to develop breast cancer when you're taking HRT than if you're not in that group. And then you can't naturally increase your progesterone and estrogen levels. Complete myth. You can. You can do that with supplements, and you can do it with the types of food you're eating. Just if you know where to find those extra hormones, you can 100% do it. But as I say, all you can do is you can increase the levels, but you won't be able to get them up to your premenopausal kind of levels, if that makes sense. Any questions? Oh.
Yeah, with with HRT, I've often wondered whether you could just take a reduced dose of it. You know, if you get the bioidentical HRT, rather than take what they suggest, just go take a quarter to start with, something like that, to just boost your levels.
You can do, Mandy. I mean, everybody is different. So, for instance, myself and one of my girlfriends were on the same gel. Now, she needed to take 2 to 3 pumps a day of it to feel, I was going to say normal, but to combat the symptoms, to overcome those. I only did 1 pump and found it was enough for me. And again, all our levels will be different to start with. They will fluctuate differently. So actually, for you, if you wanted to try a lower dose to see, does that have an impact, then go for it. You know, if your doctor has said to you with the gel, you need to take 2 pumps a day, you can try that. You could start off at that and go, actually, yeah, that's good, but I'm not comfortable taking 2. Let me see if I take 1, if actually I still get the good benefits with that. And if you do, brilliant. You know, it's not something that actually, if you self-medicate in that way, is going to necessarily cause you any harm. It's not like, you know, with antidepressants, if you take too many, it makes it harder. You get more side effects. It makes it harder for you to come off of them. It is something that you can try yourself. Your doctor will always go straight to what the recommended dose is, but you can experiment. It's not going to do you any harm. You might find that if you're experimenting too much, your symptoms and the indicators aren't going to improve. You need to give it time. So if you decided you wanted to start with 1 tablet or 1 pump, give it at least a month to see how you feel, because it can take a little bit of time to actually start feeling better. And remember, each time you change it, either increase or decrease, you'll go backwards before you go forwards, because your body has to get used to, you know, if you've been taking 2 pumps for a month and you think, I want to knock it down to 1, it'll take you another month to get your body back used to it, because it's effectively, you're doing what would happen through menopause. You're fluctuating it. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Right. Then I want to talk about my menopause lifesavers. So these are things that can work for you to help you manage all of your symptoms through menopause and develop really good habits that will take you longer term into the future, because this is a transition, and what we're looking at is how do we want to be able to live and enjoy our lives right the way through until the end of our lives, because we could have another 40 or 50 years to live through. So we want to be in the best possible way. But even if you're somebody that is not experiencing lots of menopausal symptoms, don't go looking for the symptoms, but you can still use this 5 a day, because they are still really sensible and will help you. And when I say 5 a day, you don't have to do all of these 5 of them every day. It's just a neat way of thinking about it. But what they'll do is help you with the physical impacts, and more importantly, some of the psychological impacts that we don't talk about that often. So what are they? So they are basically going to give you a structure to think about how you want to live your life and how you want to look after your body and your mind, so you can live healthy, happy, fulfilled midlife and beyond, which is what we all want. We all want to be able to run around after the grandkids or run around after our partners and have fun, even when we're in our 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond. So my 5 are, and we will look at these over the course of the next few weeks. There's a lot of information about them in the workbook that I'll send to you shortly. So fuel your body. That's an obvious one. That is about the food, drink, other things that we put into our bodies. Move your body. This is about how we move, how we exercise. But what I would say is I'm not telling you to go out there and get a gym membership and go hell for leather and become a bodybuilder. It's about sensible things that you can do, because movement is good for our bones, our ligaments, our muscles, our weight, and psychologically and emotionally. Build connection. This is where the last 3 really link together. Build connection is about getting to know you and surrounding yourself with really good, positive, fun people with like similar interests, and just know that positive relationships give us positive emotions, which is really good for our well-being. Do more that you're passionate about. So find all those things you love to do that only will make you smile and forget all the worries of the world and all that sort of stuff, and really give you that energy. Work out what those are and do as much of them as you possibly can, because this is about having fun, because again, positive emotions will keep us healthy and happier for longer. And then find your purpose. This is a big one. As a number of women come through menopause, it also coincides with perhaps their children going off to university, them flying the nest, getting their own lives. They might find that the job they've been doing for years and years, which happened to me, suddenly no longer feels right or aligned. And they start to feel a bit kind of, oh, so why am I here? What's this all about? What am I going to do for the rest of my life? They might also find that they're with a partner that they've been with for years and years and years, and suddenly when the children have gone, their interests don't align. So a lot can come up through menopause, but finding your purpose, however big or small you do, that will help you to be able to then keep that mind active. And again, it's really good for us, because when we feel we're doing something that matters to us, adds value to other people, it again gives us those healthy, good, well-being feelings. So this is all, again, it's not rocket science, but they are things that will help you through menopause and to plan for your life beyond menopause. Like I say, then this week and then the following 2 weeks, we will look at these. We'll do Fuel Your Body today. Move Your Body will be the last session, where I bring in Michelle, who is amazing. And then the one in between, so the next session, not next week, I think it's the week after or so, we will look at the psychological ones, 3, 4, and 5, because those link very closely together. Any questions on those 5? They make sense to you? Have you heard of them before? Do you live your own life with anything like that? No? Good. Hopefully they'll be helpful for you. So number 1, my menopause lifesaver, fuel your body. So why do we think, this is a kind of open question, why is nutrition important for us?
For the car.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we if we don't eat the right things and drink the right things, our bodies and minds can't function. And that's just generally. Our brain needs something like 2,500 calories, not 2,500, 250 calories an hour to function. It is one of the most hungry muscles in our body because it rules everything else. We need up to 3 litres of water a day to keep our brains from dehydrating. If you've ever noticed, if you get to that point where you've not eaten enough and you're not drunk enough and you're a bit thirsty or drunk loads of coffee, have you ever noticed your brain fog and your concentration is even worse? Because it absolutely will be, because your brain is going, I can't function, you're not giving me enough fuel to function. That's why nutrition is so important for us. I always say to people, think about your body like you're, you know, that really beautiful bright red Ferrari F40 or whatever dream car you've got. You're a beautiful, beautiful, high-powered, really expensive, beautiful sports car. If you have one of those, would you go and put diesel petrol in it? Would you forget to top up the oil? Would you forget to take it out for a drive to charge the battery? No, you wouldn't. So think about, actually, if I don't do this for my own body and mind, I'm not treating it the best I can. It comes back to that honouring yourself all the time. And actually, as we go through menopause, we need to be even more mindful of what we eat and how we think about food. Because again, our bodies aren't so good at digesting food as operating because we're getting older, and that's a fact of life. So we need to be more mindful of it. But also, hormones have a massive impact on our food and our drink and how we use it. And to be honest, a lot of people don't realise that. And this is why you can, as you age and as your hormones fluctuate through the menopause transition, it can impact the way we metabolize and use our food. So estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, all are hormones we've got in our bodies, they all reduce. And as you can see, in the end, you become really top heavy in testosterone, but still not enough to really get us fired up for exercise. Estrogen is vital in digestion. It turns on our acid receptors, which means we're able to break down and digest our food. Because when it fluctuates, we don't have so many acid receptors in our bodies. That's why we often don't digest our food as well. That's why we can feel bloated, because our food gets to our intestine and it's still in big chunks. It's not been, sounds disgusting just after breakfast, but it's not all been liquefied down because the acid isn't there to break it down. So that is why you can feel bloated. That's also why you can feel more kind of acid reflux, because actually it's just not functioning properly. That's why you get heartburn and indigestion. Progesterone and testosterone together impact our ability to burn calories. So as your hormones fluctuate, your body is less able to burn calories when you're sitting still. So when we're sitting still, our bodies are still using calories. But actually, as those hormones reduce, it doesn't do it as well. Equally, testosterone is really important for our ability and our desire to exercise. So when your hormones are fluctuating, you will find you don't feel as motivated to exercise. If you're like me, you'll find any excuse under the sun not to do it, and really easily. I mean, it takes me no time at all. Like, I booked an aqua aerobics class on Thursday, which I love, but I didn't go because I told myself I had too much to catch up on. The motivation just wasn't there. And also, when you do exercise, you can't exercise to the same intensity as you did before or for the same length of time. So it makes it much harder for you to do that exercise to burn those calories. And as a result, as we know, that means if we're still eating the same as we did before, and we're not as active, and our hormones aren't working as well, we will turn food to fat. It will store in our bodies, and it will store it in a different place to before. So we may not have thought we had that hourglass figure, but we would have had some semblance of it as we go through menopause. Or maybe you were a pear shape or whatever. But what you will notice is your shape will change. You will start to store the fat around your middles. So not on the boobs, just under, just above your waist and above your, well, my fat bit I'm holding on to at the minute, my stomach, lower stomach bit. You hold it around the middle. And that is really bad for us because it becomes visceral fat. So that's the fat that wraps itself around our organs and around our arteries and stops them from functioning as well. So we have to be really mindful that actually we want to try and avoid that as much as we possibly can. You might find, I know it felt like it was almost overnight. I wasn't really fully aware of me putting on weight until I couldn't get my jeans done up. And then when I looked in the mirror, it's like, oh my God, I've got that old lady stomach that starts from just under my boobs. Where's my waistline gone? So we go to a nice rounded apple shape. We don't always notice it. But we have to remember it's not just the food we eat that is fueling the body. The fluids we put in, the tea, the coffee, the beer, the cider, the wine, the gin, the water, the juices, and if we're smokers or other substances that we might be tempted to use, those will have a huge impact too. And we'll talk about those shortly, and there's quite a bit in the workbook about it. So what we're trying to do with the Fuel Your Body is think about how we can look after our physical health by making small changes to the way we eat and drink or think about food and drink that will impact our ability to either not put on weight or to lose weight if we have, and to safeguard all of our bodies and minds for the future. Make sense? Any questions or thoughts?
Yeah, I've got a thought. To
Go
me,
for it, Mandy.
everything you say, everything I read points to we should all be on HRT.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like the doctor, it's almost like as you're approaching perimenopause, it should be something that's an automatic
Yes.
prescription.
Yep.
Why
100%, Mandy. There's lots of reasons. It can be our upbringing. So my mum was told by her mother-in-law, oh no, you don't want to take medication, just go through it, it's natural, you can live with it, fight through it. And somehow when we become martyrs to the cause of, oh, I don't need medication, I've got this, I can do this, look at me, I don't have to take HRT. There's absolutely no point thinking like that, because HRT is so good for you in so many ways. You've also got this myth about it's dangerous for us. That still perpetuates. So people are unsure. You have a medical profession, God love them, they do a fantastic job, but GPs do not know enough, if at all, about menopause and about HRT. So they don't have to train on it. It's a non-compulsory or not a mandatory option for them. And if they decide to take the option, it's a 1-hour e-learning program. Well, I've done days and days on courses and read huge books, like look at the size of this one, about menopause. They don't do it. So they don't know everything. And also HRT, especially the body identical ones and the new ones, are expensive. So you get this whole, even though you pay for a prescription, you get this whole various surgeries won't prescribe them because they're too expensive. And now at least the government have made some HRTs free on prescription, but they're the pills and they're not the best ones. They're the old-fashioned ones, the cheaper ones. But there's been this myth before, doctors wouldn't prescribe HRT when you're going through perimenopause. They would only prescribe it when you're postmenopausal. Now there is more that actually you should be on it from your first symptoms in perimenopause, because it really helps. And it's like all these things, the sooner you can do the things that are good for your body, the lot better the long-term impact is going to be.
It's not that much difference from people being prescribed the pill for various reasons throughout their life, is it? It's the hormone. The more I hear about it, the more I'm thinking. I mean, I've actually got some here. I've had it for about 6 months, but I've been on the fence.
You have to decide when's right for you, Mandy, and it is a personal decision. And there's no right or wrong. There's only right or wrong for you. You can't do any harm by trying it. If it doesn't work for you, you can change. There are so many different ones. So if your GP says, no, that's the only one I can give you, they don't know what they're talking about. There are so many different ways of taking HRT.
Mm.
And now they are actually talking about prescribing testosterone replacement as well. And don't worry, you won't get loads of, you won't suddenly grow a beard and have a deeper voice. But unless you've got that already. But it means that actually you'll get those energy levels back. And one thing that is, it may not be important for you all, but it means that actually your sex drive will return and you can continue to enjoy a more exciting, interesting, sexy sex life, which is great for couples. It may not be something that interests you, but actually, why shouldn't you enjoy a sex life into your 60s like men do? So it is, I mean, I've been on it. I came off of it not through my own choice, but through circumstances. But I have got an appointment to see a local menopause specialist at the private hospital near me, because I'm done with my GP. I'm not going to waste time trying to get an appointment with them. I'm just going to pay for it, and I know I'll get good treatment.
Yeah.
And it is so good for you. Estrogen is so good for you physically and mentally.
Well, I'm just, because I don't know if you other girls are getting this, but I mean, since the onset of perimenopause, I've been getting ectopic heartbeats, which is something new.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You know, I know how good it is for the heart, as well as other things.
It is HRT. Estrogen is so good. Palpitations and irregular heartbeats can suddenly come to the fore as you go through perimenopause. The instance of women in their 40s having heart attacks and strokes is on the increase. And that is totally, again, because of the loss of estrogen. It's surprising. You don't realise that. If you do the research, it is phenomenal.
Again, I just don't know where I am, because I was talking to somebody yesterday and she said you've gone through it.
Only you will know that.
So I don't know. I mean, I hear all these things that people are going through and I've not got any of them. And I'm 54 in 2 weeks. It's like, is it going to happen overnight? You know, is it because I've not had children? My body's just gone along with it. So I didn't notice going into puberty.
And it's quite possible. If you had a really easy transition into puberty and your periods weren't too much of a bother when you were younger, your transition through menopause may well be easier.
My periods, I got a boost of energy, an incredibly goony sense of humour, and a bit of wind. That was my monthly. And I had a week of a normal stomach. My monthlies I looked forward to.
There you go.
Until 4 years ago when all hell broke loose. So whether that was my peri.
Could have been. It could have been, Christine. I mean, like I say, we're all very different.
And I'm still as randy as I ever have been. So that's not stopped. Sorry, but it's what I'm saying.
Whatever it is you're taking, can you share it with the rest of us?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what it is. I would love to share it. You know, I don't know if one day it's all going to hit me and I'm just going to go in a hole.
Let's hope not, and don't look for that hole. That's what I say. If your experience, everybody's experience is unique to them.
Yeah, but mine's strange. I don't know about unique.
It's not strange. It's just unique to Christine.
Yeah.
And it's just different to what Rachel, Mandy, or I may have experienced. And my experience will be different, again, to Mandy and to Rachel's. It's just your experience. So if you haven't noticed any of these symptoms, like I said before, don't go looking for them, because as soon as your brain goes, oh, she's interested in this, it will find them for you, because it thinks it matters to you. So keep doing that positive thing of, this has been just a breeze. I'm loving it.
And that's what I'm loving.
And you're
I check my chin for hairs every morning.
Never go looking for the symptoms.
No, I think that's it. I think my brain's. I do think I think I'm still my brother's younger brother. I think that was. I was told I was meant to be a boy, and I think ever since then I have been.
Well, maybe you'd be surprised how those things can hit us and impact us. Definitely.
Sorry,
But,
ladies.
you don't have to apologise at all.
No, don't be sorry.
There might be things we can learn from you. Maybe
But I did cry when you said about beer and cider because I'm off to a beer festival in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I did know that. But it's that word I hate. It's moderation.
And I have to walk from the tent to the beer tent, so that's exercise.
There you go, exercise. You're moving your body. So let's talk a little bit about the hormone boosters and what you can get from your food. And again, in the workbook, there's much more. There's some great links to NHS websites and articles that have got all the information. So as I say, adding back hormones that we lose through menopause is super important. It will support our metabolism and it will guard against some of the nasty diseases and illnesses in later life. It won't necessarily stop you having those, but it might mean that your kind of risk level is lower. Again, HRT will put back estrogen and progesterone. It will put it back in higher levels than your food can, but you can still supplement it with the food that you're eating. It won't do any harm. The natural hormone boosters will be used up in your system and depleted. So you're not kind of being able to store them in a little cupboard out of the way and release them when you need them, whereas HRT is a continuous release. Testosterone, you can now, if you need to or want to, you can get that as replacement therapy as well. It's very, very new, and it puts the whole postcode lottery into sharp view, because not all NHS trusts will prescribe it. You want it, you may have to fight for it. And a lot of women haven't thought about it and worry, as we say, about, suddenly getting stubble on your chin and, getting a deeper voice and all sorts of things. But that won't happen. They will only replace it to the level that it should have been for a woman. But again, it will be in that average bandwidth. So we say there's natural ways to boost both estrogen and progesterone through the food we eat. Phytoestrogens are the main food group, and what you'll be pleased about is the foods that are phytoestrogens that will replace estrogen will also help you with progesterone. They're very similar food groups. So the natural ones, legumes, so your vegetables, it's, again, it's not rocket science, ladies. Your leafy green vegetables, your broccolis, your cruciferous, which I think are like your radishes and things like that. Your grains, seeds, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, nuts. Soy is huge. It's so, so good. So soya milk or soybeans. I get some roasted soybeans that you can get through Herbal Life. She doesn't. Rachel doesn't like those. I really like them. They replace me wanting to eat loads of cashew nuts and peanuts and things. Or the other thing, soy in its natural form is endame. Endame beans, lightly fried, popped with some chili flakes and pepper, is a lovely starter. They're really, really good for you. They're great on salads. So think about how you can add them. Flax oil makes a really nice dressing for a salad.
Endame.
Endame.
How do you spell that?
Oh, crikey.
Sorry.
Endame.
There you go. Someone can. I can never. Yeah.
ENDMA.
ENDME.
AME. Yeah. I can never spell it.
Don't eat the whole thing.
No, don't eat they look like peas in a pod. So what you do is you cook them up. You can either lightly fry them or you can boil them, and the pod will start to open. When you eat them, you basically slide them through your teeth and pull the beans out from the pod. Do not do as my mum did, which was try to eat the pod as well. That's horrible and it's really hard. But the beans are lovely. And if you've got them in light salt, chili flakes, garlic crumbs, it's really, really nice. It's a great starter, but equally they're great on salads and in other things. You can stick them in curries, things like that. There's lots and lots of food. Sorry, what's that?
They'll definitely be at that festival.
Yeah,
You'll have someone selling them at the festival, beer festival.
Yeah.
I remember a cocktail stand. I don't remember anything else.
But they're really good. And all these foods you can get them in Sainsbury's. You don't have to go to places like Holland and Barrett and places like that to get them. You can get them in Sainsbury's. If with your vegetables and things like that, if you can afford to buy organic, so it's not been, they've not done any GM stuff on it and they've not added any chemicals, better. But again, even your bog standard vegetables from Sainsbury's that aren't organic, so don't cost you about, second mortgage for one head of broccoli, will still be good. And again, if like me, you quite like your vegetables crunchy, I will often eat baby corns, carrots, mushrooms, broccoli, even cauliflower raw. I prefer them raw. Yeah, I'm weird.
No, I
eat them like that. Really good. If you can also, when you cook them, don't do like my mum does and does your Brussels sprouts, so they're so soft they're like bleh. If you can do them a little bit on that crunchy side, you won't be cooking out all of the goodness in there. What were you going to say, Christine?
I was going to say our tomatoes are just grown now. I'm talking about organic. Oh, they are beautiful. Yeah. They're like strawberries. They're that sweet.
Tomatoes are good too because they're full of antioxidants, which again, if you can get those in your system, is really good. There's that thing you would have all heard about, eat a rainbow at every meal. So if you want to get your phytoestrogens into you, make sure you're having one of those groups of foods at every single meal. So breakfast time, when I do my overnight oats, I add flax seeds or I add sunflower seeds. I always have soy milk, so that's good. My salad at lunchtime, endame beans go in there, or some sprigs, the little sprigs of broccoli, like the tender leaf broccoli, things like that. So always try to, each meal or as your snacks, instead of reaching for, I don't know, a cereal bar, reach for a handful of sunflower seeds or flax, things like that. Rachel's going, I don't want to eat that, I want to eat a bar of chocolate. You'll find your taste buds will change and you will get to like it, you'll get used to it because it's about that healthy habit. I
took a pot of carrots in for my lunch the other day on my nibbles. I felt really, I had to hide them because I looked really strange with everyone else eating their crisps, but it felt really nice.
Don't ever hide them. Don't be ashamed to do it.
It did look odd.
It's really worth it. No, it doesn't. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. It doesn't look odd.
No, it did.
Other people that are odd. Try adding these things, see how you go, find the things you like and the way to eat them that you like, and you will feel positive benefits. You may not feel it straight away. It might be a gradual burn, but you will feel it. And certainly you'll know you're doing something positive for your body. So, supplements. The things you can buy, natural supplements and tablets that you can add as well. So, if you're not taking HRT and the food we're eating, it takes longer, think about some of the supplements that you might want to add. There's a lot widely available that you'll see advertised and in Holland and Barrett. Just Juice, Whole Foods, Simply Be, Arbonne, Life Advantage. There's so many of them. Do your research because you want to buy the quality ones that have got the best supplement, the best kind of ingredients in them. Don't be swayed by the ones that will promise you the earth because invariably they won't. It's like the diet pills that, you can take one pill at night, carry on eating the way you always have, don't do any extra exercise, and hey, you'll lose weight. Utter rubbish. You won't. You can also get other supplements. Menopause Plus is really good. The Plus one is really good because it's got soy in it and it's got magnesium. A good multivitamin is good. You can get a lot that are specifically either they're called women over 50 or menopause support. I take the menopause support tablet every day, and I get it from Asda. Really, really good. Vitamin D, calcium tablets, they're all good and they will all have benefits. So again, you don't have to go to Holland and Barrett to get them. They'll do them. You can get them in Boots, in Superdrug, in Asda, in Aldi, in Sainsbury's. You can buy them over the counter. Menopause Plus, you can buy over the counter. It's not cheap, but it does work. Then vitamins and minerals, really important. Great long list. Again, you don't have to take them all because otherwise you'll be popping pills till about midday every day. Vitamins B6, 9 and 12 are super, super important. B12 is really important for digestion because without it, your body can't get the acid receptors working. So if you've got estrogen, low estrogen levels and low B12, you're going to struggle to digest your food. So they'll all help you with hot flushes, digestion, and boosting your energy. Magnesium, you can get a supplement that's got magnesium in it. Take it before you go to bed. It will help you to sleep better. It's very, very good for sleep. Vitamin D and calcium are a given. Yes, you can get vitamin D by sitting in the sun, but that also means you can get yourself burnt, and that's not good for us. So they are really good for bone density. So important as the estrogen drops. Black cosh, I think you say it. I've not bought that, but that all my research on the NHS says that has some good effects for alleviating hot flushes. Ginseng is really good. That's good for your mood swings. It gives you energy. And if you're a guy, if their sex drive is gone, give that to them because they'll get that one back for you. St. John's wort has always been known for mood swings. Be careful with that. It doesn't always work for everybody. And it can, if you've got, it can actually work against you if you've got other complaints. You need to really look at that because if you take too much, it can be dangerous. So just be mindful of that. Flax seeds, as I've said, great for your night sweats. Evening primrose oil, I take that every night as well. Again, it's really cheap. That will help you with your hot sweats and it will stop you feeling flustered. So it's really good at managing those brain foggy moments.
That's what my mum had to do. She went down the herbal route because she was on blood pressure tablets.
Yeah.
And
this stuff works.
There was a grapefruit. I've got it a bit upstairs. A grapefruit extract or something as well.
Yeah. There's so many. I just put a few in there, and in the workbook there's links to other sources of information that is really reliable. The thing is to try these things, see what works for you, and stick with it. I'm not going to do that. You can do that in your workbook. I always try to do a breakout room, but we have too many good chats. That's really about starting to think about what is stopping you. What are your barriers to doing these things, and what particularly is your relationship with food like? So you can do that one on your own. So I say eating is a state of mind. It's a staple, we need it, but it is a state of mind. And the state of our mind will impact how good we are with food. And like I say, we all have it. And we all know what that state of mind is, how we have that relationship with food and what food represents for us. This is the important thing. What does food mean for us? So it can be a real barrier. We can use it as an excuse for poor habits, or we can use it as an excuse for not taking responsibility of the way we're fueling our body and the way we're eating. I'm terrible with it. Comfort eating. It's like, oh, well, I'm emotional. I'm a comfort eater. Therefore, I'm going to pig out. And I use that all the time. And I know actually, if I just change my mindset and stuck with it, I wouldn't have this issue. Go on, Christine.
I've never been an emotional eater. I really am a man. All my girlfriends are emotional.
Men do it too.
I've just never done it.
It's, you know, it might be, a lot of it can go back to your upbringing, because certainly my relationship with food is a weird one, because if I'd done really well at school, my mum would give me sweets or a cake, so it's a reward. So it becomes something other than just a way to keep my body going. If I didn't do so well, I wouldn't get the cake. So it was a way of a punishment as well. Many a time in the past, I can remember thinking, I don't want to eat this. My mum used to always do prunes. Prunes and custard, hate it. Absolutely hate them. She would make me sit there until I'd eaten it. Because you've got to think about the starving millions in Africa. Somebody else is starving whilst you throw this food away. So suddenly, food is some sort of sacrifice. It's something to make me feel guilty about. That's where all the emotions come in. And I also use it when I'm bored. So when my husband was working nights, I would sit there on my own and go, there's nothing on TV, what can I do? Instead of picking up a book or phoning a friend or doing the ironing, heaven forbid, I'd go and I'd take a bar of chocolate out of the cupboard and eat the chocolate. Then I'd go, oh, that was nice. What else can I have to eat? I'd just eat continuously. I'm conscious of it now, but at the time I wasn't. So I was using food for something going on in my head rather than it's just fuel for my body. And that's the different mindset. So we have to change. If we want to change the habit, we have to change the thought. It starts at that point. And as we've said, at menopause, we do need to think about readjusting the way we eat, but we also have a huge amount of emotions coming out. So it can be quite hard to then go, well, these are because of menopause. This is my relationship with food. But remember, if we don't change it, if we carry on doing what we've always done, we will put on weight because we're not able to metabolize that food as quickly. So what can you do to change that eating state of mind? First off, understand the thoughts and the emotions you associate with food. Even if you've got a good relationship with food, as you have, Christine, think about why is that? What are the emotions that I associate with food? Because actually that positive can be even more powerful than like me going, well, it's reward, it's guilt tripping, it's sacrifice. You can have positive thoughts. So understanding the thoughts and emotions that you associate with food. Understanding the impact that eating certain foods can have on your mind and your body, and especially at certain times of day. So for me, I know that if I drink alcohol and eat spicy food at night, I'm not going to sleep well. I'm going to have more night sweats. I'm going to have acid reflux. I'm going to be awake all night, and I'm going to feel pretty crappy. And I'm going to end up putting half a bottle of Gaviscon in me to try and solve the problem. Understanding what it does. And again, chocolate crisps give me that momentary high, and then they bring me right down. So they actually don't solve the problem I'm trying to solve. Try to untangle the emotion from the food. So when you have an emotional crutch or an emotional response to food, as I talked about, I probably have in the past, it becomes something more than just food. It's just fuel to keep my body working. It's not there to make me feel better about myself. In fact, it will make me feel worse about myself. So it's trying to untangle those things. And again, if you can untangle and understand the positive, that will help you to maintain that. Because an equation that I use a lot is thought plus emotion equals action. So if you can stop it somewhere along there, the thought is not real. It's just a thought. It doesn't have to become a reality. It starts to become a reality when you attach an emotion to it. if the thought is positive and you attach a happy emotion to it, so for instance, Christine, you would say, yeah, food is just food. I don't have an emotional response. How does that make you feel? Well, it makes me feel really comforted, calm, happy. So what's your action? I don't go off and pig out.
I think that's a whole nother workshop, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually
Seriously.
comes, that comes from just my whole way of food. And also I did the Paul McKenna way of thinking about food, and that has really, but for example, I said to myself, I'm eating too much chocolate. I now only eat sweets on a Sunday. Where did this alien come from? I only allow myself cakes at the weekend. I literally was able to stop, and I haven't got that sort of mind, but my mind said, yeah, fine. I'm allowing myself a cake at the weekend. Therefore, why have one during the week? Enjoy the one at the weekend.
Exactly. I do that with alcohol. I don't drink during the week.
No, I can't do it with alcohol.
But it is,
my
but you put the
emotion.
thought in there, haven't you? You put the thought in there of, actually, I don't want to eat cakes every day of the week. I want to enjoy the cake. So I'm going to have the cake at the weekend. Actually, I feel good that I'm able to do that. So you do the action. When you do the action, you feel good again because you've done what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, so rather than
Build
just
your own
having,
accountability in.
I hate eating something really nice and not remembering having eaten it, whereas having it and I say, right, I have it on a Sunday and I'm having it with a cup of tea, I actually taste it and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I know I'm
thing.
putting the calories on, but I'm enjoying it while I'm doing it.
That is the
That's
other thing
weird.
to think about is, I'll go back to that other slide.
What
Again,
does
you've
Rachel
attached
say?
emotion. Sorry,
I
Rachel?
didn't hear what Rachel said.
Oh, don't think it was that great. Only that all my food is emotional. Everything.
There you go. It's about unpicking it, Rachel.
I know, but I get up in the morning. It's what do I feel like eating? What do I feel like today? I might not eat till 2 o'clock, and another day I'll start at 8 o'clock and don't stop. You know, picking and going at different things, and then I'll think I don't want to eat what's in the fridge because I don't feel like that today. You know, and then I'll go out and buy a takeaway or something because I feel like I need that. So everything's wrapped up in emotion.
So it's working out why you do that.
The main thing is,
driving it.
but don't blame yourself. Just to
Yes.
clean the slate every day. I do that. If I've had a bad day, I think that was yesterday. Today's a different day. If I do it again, today's a different day. Wipe the slate. I never look back. I never punish myself.
Absolutely.
That's where I lose clothes for a week.
But it's about, again, honouring yourself. So think back to that session on honouring yourself. When you beat yourself up because you've eaten that way, and I shouldn't have done that, you're judging yourself. Just accept that day that's what you did. But try to think, so how would I want to feel differently tomorrow? So you're putting a positive in there. It takes time and it takes effort. The other thing that Christine said that is really important is actually savouring and enjoying your food. So how many times, and I've got this exercise in the workbook, how many times do you find yourself you're grabbing a sandwich whilst you're on the phone and you're checking emails, or you're sitting on with a tray on your lap watching TV? You're not eating mindfully, you're eating mindlessly. And when you eat mindfully, where you only concentrate on your food, you make your meal an event, so to speak, where the food is so important. Your brain will focus on that. You will also find you'll eat slower. You won't be going to get onto Asda or whatever. You'll eat slower, you'll think about your food, you'll enjoy the taste. You won't eat as much because your body, your stomach will go, we're full. And the brain will stop you. That's where Paul McKenna, because I've done the Paul McKenna stuff in the past as well. Sorry, Rachel?
I eat food mindfully, you know, having dinner is an event, you know, and I won't have to telly on and thoroughly enjoy it with a glass of wine, etc. So it's not about those poor habits or eating mindfully, you know, mindlessly. I enjoy it, but it's usually how I feel about what I'm about to eat.
So have you tried planning ahead?
Yeah.
Does that help? Or do you plan ahead and then go, I don't want that?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
So for me,
Plan for 3 days ahead, because out of the 3 days there'll be one day that you like.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, good idea. Good idea.
It might be about addressing your emotions as well.
Yes, yeah. What's happening that day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's untangling the
Right.
thought.
Write it
before you get
down.
in. Yeah. In the workbook, remember I talked about the old me, new me exercise in the past. That is an exercise you can use for just about anything. So in the workbook, what I suggest to you is for a month, if you can, keep a food diary. Write down what you eat, when you eat it, what were you doing at the time, and what were your thoughts about it. It sounds like a big effort, but if you're into journaling, you can do that. Or you can get to the end of the day and go, so how do I feel about what I've eaten today? So that you get a baseline and understand, where is there a pattern? Is there a pattern? Does it coincide with what my cycle used to be? Because that will have an impact. Fluctuations in your hormones over that, because even if you're not having a period, you will still have a monthly cycle. You still go through those feelings. So link those up. Is there something there? Is there a pattern that I eat certain things because something's happened?
Oh, definitely. Food for
Then
me
you'll
is
see
like
it.
that. It's like that. There you go. Eat that.
So are you treating yourself, or are you trying to cover up and hide something that's not, not good for you, or you're not happy about?
Probably all of the above. And because I want it, Yeah.
And
Why
there's
not?
no harm in saying, because I want it. That's
Yeah.
fine, because again, what you're doing there is you're being intentional. You're saying, I'm having it because I want it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if we deny ourselves all the time, we'll go yo-yo dieting. That's what I've done. I will do a diet. I'll go on a diet and I'll lose loads of weight.
On a diet, eat more.
Exactly.
If I literally go on a diet, I say to myself, right, that's it, I'm going on a diet, I'm not going to do so and so. I'll eat twice as much.
I'll stick to the diet.
Sabotage myself.
I'll stick to the diet and I will go so 100% on it, block everything else out. By about week 4, I'm crawling up the walls because I'm desperate for a box of Pringles. So now what I will do is look at what's the calories I want to stick to or whatever, and I'll go, actually, I'm going to have some of those. I'm not going to eat the whole packet. I'm going to have a small number, and I'm going to put the packet back. And when I feel twitchy and want to get up, I'm going to just sit on my hands and tell myself, no, don't do it. Enjoy these ones, because then there's more for another day. You don't want to feel sick because you've eaten all of them. But I won't go, oh, I shouldn't have had these. I'll go, okay, that might just mean that I have a smaller dinner, but that's fine.
But the minute you tell yourself you can't have something, you want it, which is why if you say, I worded it, I have chocolate on a Sunday. I'm not saying I don't have chocolate Monday to Saturday. It is that mind frame. The minute you say, I'm not eating cakes, your brain goes, ooh, cake.
I want cake. Yes.
Cake.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why diets don't work.
Remember, your brain wants you to be happy. It's looking for you to look after you so that you have a happy life. It doesn't want you denying yourself and feeling sad all the time. That's not right. So actually, that little child in your brain, and I always do think of it as me as a kid, actually just wants you to be happy and having fun without the cares in the world. So if that cupcake makes you feel good, your brain's going to go, you should have it. When you don't, that child in your brain starts chucking all the toys out the pram and getting them raging up. So what do? You have 4 cakes. Because it's like, I want them because you won't let me have them tomorrow. Yeah. If you think of it as a child, it's slightly different. For me, my inner self is the protector. She's trying to just keep me happy, keep me on the straight and narrow and look after me. Because she knows I'm not capable of doing that on my own. And when we're on the straight and narrow and we're having it and everything's going smoothly, she's in her paddling pool. It's a lovely sunny day. She's got a little swimsuit on with a little skirt around the bottom, and she's playing and everything's wonderful and she's smiling and it's all a dream. On the days when I'm having a bad day, she's a right little cow. She's put a hole in the paddling pool. The water's all out all over the garden. It's turned the borders to mud. Mum and dad are telling her off. She doesn't like, she won't put her swimsuit on. You know, she's stamping her feet because she wants something that she can't have. And what she's trying to do is protect me, to say, hang on, think about this, we don't like this, we don't like this. So I then will stop and go, actually, I need to pay attention to that inner self. What's it trying to protect me from? And often when I listen to it, it sounds like I'm schizophrenic, doesn't it? When I listen to it, it puts it all back into perspective again. But it helps me to get the right state of mind because my inner child is not happy.
You know, something that's helped me, because I had a thing with sugar a few years ago, and for me it's I've educated myself on the dangers of sugar.
Yes.
And you can, and it's so easy through YouTube. I mean, I've got books that I've read, but also short YouTube clips. And so when I look at sugary things differently now.
Yes. Yeah. Education's important. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't, you know, I do have the odd slice of cake, but it is the odd rather than a regular.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It'd be nice to know what kind of things that you've watched. I'd be interested.
Yeah.
So
you have to share it in the group.
Oh. Yeah, I mean there's a book called The Case Against Sugar, which is, well, you probably wouldn't touch sugar again, but you know, that's not realistic, is it?
No.
It's just about understanding what it does to you.
Yeah. This again, education, because remember that thought plus emotion equals action. The thought isn't real. So actually, if you don't want to attach an emotion to it, because when you attach an emotion, it becomes an action. So actually, what you've done there, Mandy, is you've got the thought, you've gone out and you looked for the evidence. You've understood, actually, these are the impacts of sugar. Therefore, I don't want to do it. So you've changed your action. If you had just gone, I want sugar, I want all these cakes, and you had them, you might actually find that you weren't feeling good.
Mm.
So sometimes when you have those thoughts, look for either the emotion and try and switch it, or take the emotion out of it, or find the evidence. What's the evidence to back up that this is good for me to have? Or, you know, it's the same, you're here to learn about menopause. The more you can learn about the things that you can do, the things that might happen to you, and the things that you can do to look after yourself, the more likely you are that you're going to have a positive mindset and you're going to thrive through it.
Well, I mean, I've still got an Easter egg in the fridge. That's what I say about my chocolate.
I'm coming round.
I've got a bottle of gin. It says about me, doesn't it?
I'm coming round.
Actually, we should all do that. Well, the three of us will go to Mandy's armed with chocolate and gin. Mandy doesn't want either of those because they're all full of sugar.
I can't drink alcohol, which is unfortunate.
It's not unfortunate, Mandy.
It is. Well, it doesn't agree with me since menopause.
Can you drink tonic water?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't drink it. No.
No, I drink tonic water, and often my body goes, we've got vodka in there.
Yeah.
It can almost imagine an alcohol in there.
I'm not bothered, to be honest. I mean, I did like the odd cocktail, but they're loaded with sugar, so
Yeah, I know, that's why it's so nice.
See, again though, and you know what the bad effects of sugar, and you don't want to go there, so you found the evidence and you attached it to the thought.
Those YouTube videos you watched, I'd be interested in that if you could share them with us.
Sure, yeah, there's loads.
I'll have a look.
Pop them in the WhatsApp group, Mandy, because they'd be really useful.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna kind of stop there, but again, you can share these things in the group and have that chat. The workbook has got other exercises you can do to think and to try and overcome those barriers to change in your lifestyle, because you know there is no silver bullet. You you know, even HRT isn't a silver bullet that will solve everything. It's one of the tools you can use to help you. It's finding those things. And actually, if you can overcome that emotional relationship with food and start to see it merely as fuel, food isn't emotion, it isn't love, it's just food. So there's a blog, it's a blog, did I write? I can't remember if it's a blog or a vlog. It might be a video blog where I've done on my website that is, I think it's entitled Food, Fuel or Emotion. And it talks about my crappy relationship with food. And it, sadly, my mum won't like it, but it does go back to, so much goes back to my upbringing and how food was seen as a treat. It was either a reward or a punishment. So, you know, if you've got that, a reward or a punishment, you've got guilt thrown right in there straight away.
Too much emphasis on food. Yeah.
Exactly. It would have been better as a reward if they gave me a book or took me to the zoo or something like that, an experience. But no, here's a packet of sweets. You know, it's things like that. So then when I want to treat myself and reward myself, I'll buy myself a box of chocolates because it's still linked with it. And it's a perennial battle that I have, and it is a battleground, but I'm getting better at it. But I have to work at it all the time. So I work at it when I want to get fit and healthy, and I'm like, yes, that's my goal. I don't know why I let it go. I'm totally in the zone. What I have to do is maintain the zone, and that's where it sometimes falls off a cliff. So I've been a yo-yo dieter all my life, since I was a teenager. And each time I diet, I lose the weight, and then I put on more. And I lose it again, and I put on even more. So ultimately, my weight goes up all the time. So, and that totally comes back to my hang-ups around how I use food. I don't use it just so that my body can keep going. I use it for all sorts of emotional things. And when I'm really in a bad place, when I've had depression and anxiety, I binge eat as well. I don't do bulimia where I throw up, but I binge eat. I will eat. Sorry, what was that? I would just eat and eat and eat. I'm not hungry and I'm full. And I would do it until I feel sick, and then I'll stop. And then I'll lie in bed, literally kicking myself in the head, going, oh, you knew you wouldn't be able to sleep. You knew you'd feel sick by doing that. Why did you do it? And then I'll go and do it the next day. And it's a total mental health eating disorder. And it hits me each time I'm at my lowest ebb. So I have to look out for that because it makes me feel worse. So, you know, it isn't easy to break the habits. And the thing is not to shoot yourself when you don't do it well. Just as Christine said, that was just today. Tomorrow is a new day. I'm going to do things differently. And I like the idea of planning 3 days worth of food. There's a lot you can do where you have the salad in a jar. I don't like that idea because that to me is not a natural way to eat for me to do that. But it works for a lot of people. I found I love overnight oats for breakfast, which is my oats with, I usually have a protein, super protein powder and that. Yeah, let me stop this and we will stop there.